Hello everyone, this is part 6 on how to make a racing game in Scratch. In this tutorial, I will be creating a layering system for the sprites, adding a race starting type of screen, and editing the race finish screen. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 5 yet, check them out, links are in the description below. Anyways, let's get started. So first off, I want to create a layering system for all of these sprites, because the minimap over here, as you can tell, goes behind the track, and let's say if I move the track around and then click the green flag, then the layering gets sort of messed up. So we want to fix that. So to make the sprites appear on the screen in the correct order, it's actually pretty simple. There's this block in the looks category that says go forward 1 layers, and we can use this block to decide which sprites go on top and which sprites go on the bottom. So let's first start with the sprite that should be on the very bottom, which is the racetrack, because we want the race car and the starting line to all be on top of the racetrack. So right now I'm in the racetrack sprite, and since we want the racetrack to be on the very bottom, let's just drag this go to front layer and then change it to go to back layer. Now let's put this under the when flag clicked, and now let's just leave it like that, because when we click the green flag, we want the track to go at the very bottom, like this. So next up is going to be the starting line sprite. So of course we want the starting line sprite to appear in front of the racetrack, but behind the race car, like this. So let's go to our starting line sprite. And of course, let's also drag a go to back layer and put this under the when flag clicked. However, since we want the starting line to appear in front of the racetrack, let's drag a go forward 1 layers and put this after the go to back layer. So now the starting line should appear in front of the racetrack whenever the green flag is clicked. So let's say I move the racetrack and drag it on top of the starting line. Then if I click the green flag again, the starting line should appear on top of the racetrack. Alright, let's try increasing the number here to 2 layers. So sometimes going forward 1 layer isn't enough, so let's make the starting line go forward by 2 layers, and now let's try it again. So let's try dragging this, and now if we click the green flag again, then as you can see, no matter what, the starting line is in front of the racetrack. Alright, so now let's do the same thing for the race car. So let's go to our race car sprite, and first of all, when the green flag is clicked, we want the race car to go to the back layer. And then since we want the race car to appear in front of the starting line, let's drag a go forward 1 layers, put this after the go to back layer block, and then change it to, let's say, go forward 3 layers. So since the race car goes forward by 3 layers, that's more than the starting line, which only goes forward by 2 layers. So the race car should be in front of the starting line. So let's try it out. So as you can see, the race car is on top of the starting line, and if we, let's say, drag the starting line on top of the race car and then click the green flag again, then so the race car is under the starting line. So let me change the race car to go forward 4 layers. So sometimes 1 layer is not enough again, so let's try it again. So if I drag the starting line on top of the race car, then click the green flag again, as you can see, the race car is on top of the starting line, like this. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is increase the layer of the minimap, because as you can see, the minimap over here is behind the racetrack. So let's go to our racetrack sprite. That's where we have the minimap. And our minimap is this clone right here. So let's drag a go to back layer to make it go to the very back. Let's drag this under the when it starts a clone. And then let's drag a forward 1 layers, and let's make it go forward 2 layers, just in case. So let's drag this after the go to back layer. And now the minimap should go on top of the racetrack. So let's try it out. And it does, as you can see. It might be a bit hard to see, but the minimap is on top of the racetrack. Alright, Now let's do the same thing for the race car and starting line inside of the minimap. So let's go to our race car. And the race car in our minimap is the clone. So let's drag a go to back layer. And let's drag a go forward. And let's say go forward 4 layers, because we want the race car inside of the minimap to appear on top of the racetrack. And also we have this go to front layer in the forever loop. So let's take that out. And that should be fine. Alright. So as you can see, our race car in the minimap is on top of the racetrack. However, I think it's behind the starting line. So let me change that. Let's actually make the race car go forward by 6 layers. And let's go to our starting line. And let's make the clone go to back layer first of all. And then go forward only by 4 layers. So now the race car inside of the minimap should be on top of the starting line, which is on top of the racetrack. So let's check. And alright, as you can see, the race car marker here is on top of the starting line marker, which is on top of the racetrack. Alright. Oh yeah, I also want to add the layering for both the lap counter and the timer. So let's go to our lap counter. And let me see. So since we want the lap counter to go on top of everything else, the go to front layer is fine. So we can just keep it like that. And now for our timer, the go to front layer is fine too. So yeah, those 2 sprites are actually okay. So anyways, the main reason I wanted to add the layering system was because sometimes when you're in the editor and you accidentally drag a sprite, then it's super annoying to put the sprite back on top of the other sprites and stuff like that. But now with the layering system, it automatically does it for you. So now that we're done with the layering system, the next thing I want to add is a race starting screen. So now if we click the green flag, the race immediately starts. However, I sort of want to give the player a bit of time to prepare. So I think I'm going to add a stoplight here, sort of like most racing games, where it's going to have a red light and then yellow light and then green light, and then once the light turns to green, the race can actually start. So let's do that. First of all, I'm going to create a new sprite, and I'm going to paint the stoplight costume. So yeah. Alright, so I am done with the stoplight. So as you can see, I made 3 costumes. The first one is going to be the red light, and then the second costume is going to be the yellow light, and then the third costume is the green light. So I'm planning on making it drop down at the beginning of the game, and then have it show the red light, and then yellow light, and then green light, and then once it does show the green light, the game actually starts. So now that I have my stoplight, we can actually start coding now. So let's go to the code, and let's grab a when flag clicked in the events. And now when the flag is clicked, I'm going to first make the stoplight go all the way up here at the very top of the screen. So that is go to X 0, let's make it, and then Y 184. Alright, so unfortunately my stoplight does not go completely off the screen. As you can see, half of the stoplight is still here. However, there is a way to make the stoplight go completely off the screen. So let's go to looks, and then drag a set size to, and put it before the go to XY. Now let's make the size of the stoplight something really large, like 500%. And then, after it goes to XY, let's drag a set size to 100%. So it goes back to its original size, or the size that we want it to have. And now we can change the Y value to a higher number, let's say a 200. And if we click the green flag, then as you can see, our stoplight is completely out of the screen. So it's somewhere over here right now. And that's just a handy little trick we can use to make sprites start off screen. So now I want the stoplight to drop down when the game starts, or when the flag is clicked. So let's go to motion, and let's just drag a glide 1 seconds to block. And then let's say glide to Y position 150. Now let's try it. And alright, it glides to over here. Now, even though the glide is a pretty simple way to make the stoplight go down, I don't think it's going to work in this case because, as you can see, the stoplight still sort of shows over here instead of going completely off screen. So we have to use this size trick all the time while the stoplight is moving. So unfortunately, we can't use glide. But instead, let's go to Control and then drag a repeat block. And let's go to Motion and drag a change Y by block and put it inside of the repeat. And this is going to work the same way as the glide. So let's just change Y by maybe, let's say 8 and repeat 10, that's fine. And now we can use the size trick to make sure that the stoplight starts completely off screen. So let's go to Looks, drag a set size to, and then put it before the change Y. So let's make it something really large, like 500. And then let's drag a set size to 100%, drag it after. And now that should be fine. Let's try it out. So as you can see, it's sort of hard to tell, but the stoplight starts completely off the screen. So I can make it move a bit slower to show you guys. Let's make it -2. So as you can see, okay, let's make it repeat maybe 50. The stoplight starts completely off the screen. So, I mean, it's just a really minor detail, but it makes the game look a lot smoother. But anyways, let's change it back to repeat 10 and change Y by -8. Alright, so the stoplight's going to appear like that. Let's actually make it repeat 15. Okay, that looks better. And now we have our stoplight. So now what we want to do is to make the stoplight first flash red, and then yellow, and then green. So to do that, it's pretty simple. Let's first drag a switch costume to block and change it to switch costume to costume 2, or whatever your red light costume is. And let's put this right after the win flag clicked. Alright, now let's go to Control and then drag a wait. Let's say wait 1 second is fine. So yep. Now let's go to Looks, drag a switch costume to costume 3, or in your case, whatever the yellow light costume is. Now let's duplicate this and switch costume to costume 4, or the green light costume. So let's try it out. Okay, red, yellow, green. Alright, let's see it again. Okay, I think I'm going to actually make the stoplight first have none of its lights flashing. So I'm going to go to Costumes and then duplicate one of the costumes, but make none of the lights showing. So I'm going to first, let's see, get the exact same color values for the red light, and then repaint this. Alright, so I'm going to actually have the stoplight first show this costume when it's dropping down. So I'll just name this costume 1, and that should be fine. So when the flag is clicked, the stoplight is first going to show costume 1, which is the dropping down costume, with no lights flashing, and then it's going to wait 1 second, switch costume to the red light, and then wait 1 second, switch costume to the yellow light, and then wait 1 second, and then switch costume to the green light. And of course, you can use a repeat loop to, go to the next costume, but honestly, it's the same thing. So I'm going to leave it like that, and now let's try it out. So no lights, then red, yellow, green. Alright, so I think that looks a bit better. So this. Yeah, I think that's fine for now. So I'm just going to leave it like that. Alright. And now after the green light shows, we want the stoplight to probably go back up, and then the game can actually start. And also, we don't want the car to be moving when the stoplight is showing. So to do all of this, let's first go to Events, and I'm going to drag the broadcast block and change it to, let's say, a new message, and I'm going to call it Race Start. Then click OK. And I'm going to broadcast this after it switches to the green light costume. So I'm going to drag it down here. And I'm also going to add a wait 1 second after it turns green. So like this. Alright. And of course, we want the stoplight to go back up. So I'm going to copy this repeat block and then put it after the race start. Alright, and of course we want to repeat 15, change y by +8 so that it goes back up, and that should be fine. And now if we try it out, let's see, goes down, red, yellow, green, goes back up, and the race starts. But of course we don't have anything for our race start right now. So to make the race actually begin after the light turns green, let's first go to our race car, and over here we want to make the race car be able to move only after the race starts. So let's drag a when I receive race start, and let's see, let's put this forever loop under the when I receive race start. And I think we can leave all of this under the when flag clicked, so that's fine. And I think this is good, so let's try it out. So if I try moving the car, I can't. But once the race starts, I can actually move it. Like this. Alright, so let's try it again. So right now I can't move the race car. I'm pressing the up arrow key right now. But then once the light turns green, I can now move the race car. So I think that's okay, but I'm actually going to remove the wait 1 second after the light turns green, because I think once the light turns green, the car should be immediately be able to move. So okay, I think I'm gonna instead add a wait 1 second after the race start and before it goes back up, or before the stoplight goes back up. So let's try it out, holding the up arrow key. And I think that should be fine. Yeah, I think that's okay. I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, I think that's fine. Alright. And now we have sort of a basic race start function. However, one thing that I noticed is that the timer already starts even though the race has not started yet. So to fix that, let's go to our timer sprite, or number counter sprite. And then over here, let's see, we want the timer to do all of this once the race actually starts. So instead of the when flag clicked, let's drag a when I receive race start. Then let's do all of this stuff. And of course, we don't want to forget to reset the timer once the race starts, because how the timer works is that once you click the green flag, then the timer already starts. However, we want the timer set to 0 when the actual race starts. So let's drag a reset timer block. Let's put this, let's see, probably before the forever loop, and that should be fine. So let's try it out. So no timer, and then once the race starts, then there's the timer. Alright, let's see it again. Okay, I think there's a bit of like a delay in the timer. As you can see, it sort of shows 0 for like half a second. Okay, let's see if I can fix that. I think the problem is this repeat right here. So in order for the number counter to immediately start showing the time, we have to create a new block. So let's go to My Blocks, and let's create a new block and call this probably generate number clones or something like that. And then let's check this option here called run without screen refresh. So let's check mark this, And what this is that all repeat loops under this block will run instantly. So I think the repeat loops are causing a bit of a delay, but now if we check run without screen refresh, any repeat loop under the block should instantly run. So let's click OK. And now let's drag this set digits to 0 and the repeat loop under the generate number clones. And let's drag the generate number clones block under the race start and put this back. Alright, now let's try it again. So this should work. Let's see. Alright, as you can see, the timer immediately starts showing the time once the race starts. Like that. Okay, cool. So now we have the race car and the timer both working. And let's see. For some reason, I think the race car is moving super quickly. That's weird. Let's see. Oh, I think I might have accidentally deleted the if statement checking if the race car is the original sprite. So I'm just going to add it back super quickly. So if, and then operators equals operator, go to variables, and then if is original race car is equal to yes. Then do all of this stuff. Alright, that should be fine. I think I accidentally deleted it, but now the race car should move normally. Yeah, everything seems to work. Cool. And now we have our race begin screen. So we have our stoplight, and then everything works like that. And I think I'm going to reposition the track a bit. So I sort of want the race car to go more in front. So to do that, let's go to our stage. And that's where we set the scroll X and scroll Y. And as it said here, it sets the position of the racetrack. So if we change the scroll Y to, let's say, a larger number, maybe -60, okay, the race car goes more in front. I'm going to change it to maybe -50. Alright, that's a bit better. Maybe -40. Okay, I'll make it -42 or something. Alright, and I think the race car should be a bit more centered. I'll make the scroll X 65. Alright, I think that looks good. And yep, I think that's fine. And I think once the race starts, I'm going to show the lap counter and the minimap. So before the race is starting, I want to actually hide them. So let's go to our lap counter sprite. And when the flag is clicked, I want to actually hide it. But then in the events, let's drag a when I receive race start. And then let's make the lap counter show once the race starts, like this. So let's try it out. Alright, so I think that's fine. Now let's do the same thing for the minimap. So in the minimap sprite, or the racetrack sprite, we want the racetrack clone, which is the minimap racetrack, to only show once the race actually begins. So if we drag a when I receive race start, then show, else when the flag is clicked, then hide, then it's not going to work because both the minimap racetrack and the actual track will hide. So to solve this problem, let's first take out the hide block, and I'm just going to drag a show. So when the flag is clicked, the actual racetrack will show. However, when the clone is created, or the minimap racetrack, and this actually should be fine. So let's try it out. There is no racetrack in the minimap, and then once the game starts, then there is. Alright, cool. Now let's do the same thing for the other clones. So the minimap race car and the minimap starting line. So let's go to our race car. Let's go to events. When I receive race start, then show. And then the clone should hide. And that should be fine. Now our starting line. When I receive race start, then show, and the clone should hide. Alright, let's try it out. And as you can see, the entire minimap shows once the race actually begins. So yeah, I think I like this a lot better, and that should be fine. Yep, and there we go. Alright, let's see it again. The soft light shows up, and then once the green starts, we can actually begin. Alright, cool. Anyways, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then give it a thumbs up and subscribe too, if you haven't already. I didn't get to the race finished screen part in this video, but I will be creating a restart system in the next video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in my Scratch studio, and if you want to check out this game, I shared it on my Scratch profile. Anyways, that's it for this video. See ya!